world champion Dodgers in the rematch of the World Series. And I just want to touch on this because I thought this would be a more competitive series. Obviously, they got swept by the White Sox prior to this series. In both of these games, I mean, they had traffic on the bases last night, but not really competitive ball games. And let's just talk a little Blue Jays Dodgers.
Yeah, Dodgers are just showing up really nice. Even in the guard series that they did lose, like all the games are close, so the Dodgers are looking good. Feel like Tucker's starting to get a little comfortable. Um, Also, I'm still there with you, right?
Yeah,
Something
you're
just
still here.
popped up on my
Yeah.
screen. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Sorry, people, live TV. Um, so Kyle Tucker is looking much more comfortable in the Dodgers jersey. Teoscar Hernandez starting to hit. Otani's always going to hit. Uh, Sasaki's not looking great, but the other pitchers are looking pretty good so far. So the Dodgers are just kind of making sure that they're maintaining somewhat of that similar pace because they know once they get into the mid stretch of the season that they're going to run away with it. However, the Blue Jays, they were one of my teams that I was kind of iffy on going into this year. Teams that kind of have an unexpected World Series run, I feel like it takes a lot out of them because they're not built for that run. It's an extra whole month of baseball, which might not seem a lot in 162 games, but when you've already played 162 games, every game is like a marathon. So Blue Jays, the hitting just doesn't seem there at all. Vladdy's been close to non-existent. I don't even think he has a dinger yet or a lot of extra base hits. Springer hasn't looked really. He's had a couple dingers, but he hasn't really looked great. Guys like Barger, Varsho, you're not going to want to rely on those guys anyway. So shouldn't really be um, too reliant on them going forward. But we're going to see how it goes, kind of how Vladdy's hitting and everything. So they're just not hitting the ball. And the pitching's obviously not terrific, but you can't really do much when you're not scoring. And it kind of showed when you lose a series to the Rockies and then get swept by the White Sox.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna say this: if Heineman's your fifth best option OPS wise right now for the Blue Jays, that's not a good thing.
It's
Like you
rough,
said,
dude.
Vladdy only has one home run. They're gonna need more of him, but I get it. It's early. It's early. It's too early to write him off, right? But it is a little concerning. They did bring over Jesus Sanchez from the Astros. He's been kind of their big thumper for them with an 804
Yeah.
OPS. Really, the only guy that showed up. But dude, to me, like I get they added so many pieces, and I'm sure it takes a little while to gel, right? But I watch just watching this team, it just seems like they're so out of sync, right? They're not fully like it seems like they're still in spring training mode. Like I watched Dylan Cease drop a little flip ball back to first base to him. He's been just a hit or miss guy. It is interesting how they're using Max Scherzer. It's more of a bullpen, like 2 inning, 3 inning guy, more than getting deeper into
Mhm.
games. Which I mean, he didn't pitch bad against the Dodgers, but you would assume that if he's going to continue to do that, that's going to eventually, affect them workload for their pitchers, especially with Ponce out for the year with a knee injury, which sucks because I thought I was very high on him coming into the year. But even Kevin Gausman yesterday didn't look as stellar as he used to. But again, got to give credit to this Dodger lineup, right? Kyle Tucker has finally found his groove, like you said. Another guy that I'm really high on that I was surprised he didn't make the opening day roster for the Dodgers was Hassan Kim. He's been
Yes.
hooping
Yep.
right now,
The
hooping. I know
Rocket.
it's only a small sample size, but good guy to anchor the bottom of the order. Former KBO All Star MVP guy. But Alex Freeland too's kind of found his groove a little bit. Some guys that you're not really expecting for the Dodgers stepping up too.
And to the defense of Blue Jays and just Blue Jays fans in general and the Blue Jays. I mean, you got Bieber and you Savage on the IL. You obviously got Kirk, Barger. Those are big parts of the line, especially Kirk. That's a guy that kind of ties it all in, especially with the pitching staff. So um, more of them is just getting healthy. But again, this is what happens to those teams that like similar to the Nationals the year after they won the championship. Like those teams that win unexpected championships, sometimes they come in so beat up, man, because you just had to use everything you can, especially for them who went into extra innings of a game 7. So we'll see if the Blue Jays get it together. But the AL East is just a dogfight. And I'll tell you what, dude, I know we're not talking about them and I don't want to like branch off into it, but like The Red Sox have their own thing. I don't think the Orioles are that great. I thought they'd be a little better, but we'll see. But I mean, the way the Rays are playing, the way they hit the ball, you might put yourself in a deficit early. So, and especially with the Yankees, sadly. So we'll see how the Blue
Yeah,
Jays do.
and New York might run away with this at some point if the Blue Jays play the way they've been playing. Eventually, it's got to come together, right? They're not as bad as they're playing right now, but they're also not playing great. -23 run differential. They're 4-7 right now. That's a lot for a team that
Yeah,
was based off of, elite pitching a year ago in, small ball. And they really haven't played small ball. They kind of relied more on the home run ball these last couple games, not coming through in the clutch. So they got their work cut out for them. You said the Red Sox too. They're off to a slow start, 3-8. Kind of surprised by that, but I don't think they're going to be as bad as people think. Both of these teams
yeah,
eventually will, flip the script. I don't see the Rays or the Orioles being second and third for the entire year. That's just my opinion. But to go off your point, it is a little concerning the way they have been playing so far.
definitely. But they got a lot of room to grow. But it's just
For sure.
last year they started so hot. It's gonna be interesting because they're kind of have to gonna go the other way this time. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of a team that started hot, the New York Yankees, they came back and won last night.
Yeah,
Just
dude.
a team that continues to pitch well. They've had one of the best starting pitching rotations in all of baseball so far. And another thing for me is that I talked about and I was so against them not doing anything in the offseason, addressing some of the biggest needs. They just kind of ran it back, and they had one of the best offenses a year ago, like I said. But I mean, guys are kind of stepping into new rules. Ahmed Rosario went off yesterday. A nice piece that they, brought in at the deadline a year ago that can hit left-handed pitching. Just a good pickup overall. They need more guys like that to eventually take leaps. My biggest issue is the shortstop position because Jose Calderon has not produced. And it's going to be interesting how they're going to either move on from him and start Anthony Volpe, or they're going to, make an external move or maybe an internal one. Maybe George Lombard, who's been playing very well in the minors, comes up sooner or later. But for the Yankees, man, it, I know the A's have been, slow starters, a little bit disappointing. Their pitching has not been great. Offensively, they're kind of getting into their groove a little bit. Um, and Nick Kurtz is off to a slow start. I don't expect him to be this bad as he is right now. But man, this is just an interesting team in general. We'll talk about the A's first before we get into the Yankees. What are your expectations and your thoughts so far about the A's start?
Yeah, they had to thump for them to have any chance, and the way they're starting this year, Rooker kind of had a nice game the other night. I think they came back on the Astros and won. Um, or no, it wasn't the Astros. I
Yeah,
forget
it
who
was.
it was.
Mhm. It was the
Oh, it was
Astros.
the Astros. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He had the two home run game
Mhm.
on Sunday, but I mean, at the point of if Luis Severino's not pitching like an ace, they're not going to really have a chance. Their depth is terrible when it comes to the pitching rotation. Soderstrom, uh, Kurtz really start off slow. Haven't seen a lot from the other guys. Max Muncy's looking okay at the plate. Other
Mhm.
Max Muncy, and then obviously Shea Bangaliers is gonna bang a bunch of home runs, but there just doesn't seem like a lot of cohesion with the team. Every time that they're a fun, like they had that little run about 2 years ago in the middle of the year when they were playing good ball, but it always seems like guys are playing good ball at different times. I just think it's so hard, and it's kind of pretty much guys playing for individual stuff there because there's really nothing to build on. I think they're the most disappointing team in the league at the end of the year. Um, I'm just really surprised at how slow of a start they come out with the hitters they have. I don't know if it's the schedule, but at the end of the day, I think it's just kind of sad. It's a lot like the Washington Wizards with basketball. I feel like there's just like little to no hope. They have really good players, like a couple guys. You're like, wow, like the Wizards. You're like, wow, Alex Starr is pretty good. Um, and then you look at the A's. You're like, wow, Nick Kurtz is pretty good, but it just really won't matter because it's never going to be put together. So until they move to Vegas, I kind of just feel this team as a it's almost like the collection of an adult rec league of all the guys that didn't have a team and they all signed up to be like, "Hey, I have a friend, like we can go ahead and sign up the two of us and then go on this creative team. Like it just doesn't seem like cohesive at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw this out there. I'm gonna make a college football connection. They're kind of like Nebraska, right? Like even
Mm,
this year when you thought of it,
I
like
like that.
man, Nebraska could be a playoff team. They got all this talent. They got
Yep,
Dylan
that's a good
Raiola. It's
comparison.
literally the same thing to me. Nick Kurtz, 560 OPS. Brent Rooker, 580 OPS. Some of their key names have not been getting going. Jeff McNeil, who they brought over from the Mets, has not been getting going. But I do have to say some positivity because I did shit on their pitching staff. Aaron Savali had a great outing yesterday, and he only has
He
a
did.
2.7 ERA. Against a really good Yankee lineup, like we said. Do I expect them to finish higher than the Angels? I do. So I'm a little not really concerned because they've only played 11, 12 games so far. Again, we're only in still the beginning mid-April, so like we can't really write teams off right away. But we could still say we have some concerns because I'm looking at their
I'm gonna write this team off.
yeah, just no pitching. But I'm not
It's
writing them off
just
yet. I just think, Jacob Wilson starting off slow, Lawrence Butler starting off slow. Offensively, those guys are gonna pick up. They have track records. They have, pedigree in this league of being great hitters. Now, pitching wise, I'm a little concerned because what Jeffrey Springs, Luis Severino has not looked good. And I could probably not
he's
name
not
like
staying at a two and a
they
half.
got so many
That's for
moving
sure.
pieces in their bullpen. Like there's new guys pitching there almost every
Oh
week.
my god.
They don't have
You're
any
not
there's just so
kidding,
much
dude. Oh my
turmoil,
god.
dude. Yeah, dude, look at it. Look at it and tell me that
Three, four,
that's
five,
gonna
six,
sustain,
seven,
any
8, 9,
success.
10. They've had 10 bullpen arms already this year. That's
Yeah,
crazy, dude. That's
yeah,
that's crazy. Oh, they got Scott Barlow. Oh my god.
yeah, dude. Scott Barlow, who,
Hate Scott Barlow. Hey, Scott
bounced
Barlow,
around
fuck you,
Royals,
dude.
Padres,
I can't.
Guardians, Reds. God,
Biggest
man.
offseason signing of the year was Scott Barlow. We're not getting onto that. That's gonna be a whole
No.
nother take. We're playing such good baseball. I'm not gonna complain.
Yeah. No, but I just want to touch on the Yankees. And I know I talked about them a little bit before. Off to a great start. Off to a great start. Sitting right now is 8-2, first best record in all of baseball right now. Great offense, like I said, guys are getting going. Aaron Judge is starting to slowly, but he hasn't even been the best player on the team. Right now, the best player on the team's been Ben Rice. And Ahmed Rosario as well has continued to thrive in that platoon role. Who, I'm not a big fan of Ahmed Rosario his days in Cleveland, but once he started flipping over to the platoon role, hitting only against left-handed pitching, he's just been able just really thriving. Guys I'm really concerned about, Austin Wells, Jose Calderon, it doesn't really seem to affect them with the emergence of, Ben Rice, Cody Bellinger. Uh, you know, Trent Grisham's not been hitting well, but he's at least playing good defensive center field for them right now. And for a Yankees team that, I was so high on, the Blue Jays, but in a really tough division, getting off to a hot start like they usually do as of now, and guys like Cam Schlittler, who have looked really well, who pitched last night against a really tough A's lineup. He looked really good. So they have one of the best rotations in all of baseball. They have one of the best lineups in all of baseball. I'm going to say that they are on track to win this division if they keep it up because of everybody's just beating each other up in the East.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's kind of like almost like a Big Ten effect, SEC effect of just guys beating each other up in one of the best divisions, one of the most talented in baseball, especially hitting. But I mean, when you have Stanton coming in healthy and hitting the way he is, changes that whole lineup. I mean, with or without Soto, it's such a difference maker. I mean, being able to put him behind Judge, especially with Ben Rice kind of taking Soto's spot, not necessarily with the production, but if you can combine Stanton and Rice and replace Soto, that's really all you need right there. And especially with that length, like kind of lengthening the lineup, making it two guys instead of one is going to help Judge because then they really can't avoid him, especially if those guys are hitting so hot like they are right now. Especially and Belly's going to hit better too. Belly just looked great past couple of years. He had like that fluke at the end of his Dodger run, but Belly's always going to hit. And then obviously you got Ahmed in the platoon hole. But I think really the X factor, and you mentioned him earlier, I think it's going to be calling up Lombard. I feel like they have the protection. If they need to go to that, Calabero's uh, great off the bench, great pinch runner, platoon guy. But I think it's time. You can kind of risk putting a younger guy in the lineup, put him down in 8-7, really just let him mature. Might as well let him run from now. You have a good lead in the division. He's not going to cost you games. I feel like that's probably going to be their next move. But all in all, they're looking like probably the best team in baseball so far. And I got to give credit to my boy David Bednar. He already has 5 saves. So I know people hate the save stat, but I'm an old school guy. I love saves because it's a direct correlation to a win.
Mhm.
So if you can give me 40 to 50 of those every year, I just got to win 30 to 40 other games. So I
Yeah.
feel like Bednar right now, the way he's pitching, if he can close out games for them, and like you said, the starting pitching is just filthy, dude. I mean, that's even without uh, Garrett Cole. So
Yeah, right now
sadly,
that
it's just going to be a lot of this from the Yankees this year.
yeah, and right now their rotation's got a 1.65 F4. That's one of the best in baseball, and we're only like, 10 games into the year. Will Warren, like, nobody's really talked about. I was talking to Chris a couple days ago. Moved over. He was pitching more in the middle of the rubber. In the minors, he was on the third base side, and a lot of guys were telling him, "Man, like in spring training, like Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton were going up to him like, man, your stuff plays. Your stuff is better when you're on the third base side of the rubber because guys tinker in spring training. Guys want to see, how their stuff plays, how command and all that." He started going back to the third base side, and man, he's pitched to a 2.70 ERA. Looked like a really good third and already a really good Yankee rotation. Now, the
Yeah.
bullpen, too, has been very impressive to me. Fernando Cruz, really good setup, man. They got Camilo Duvall, Tim Hill, really good left handed reliever. All of those guys have pitched really well early on this year. Yankees just, it's going to be interesting. You talked about George Lombard coming up eventually. I think that they're going to look at maybe a CJ Abrams at some point
That could be
because,
interesting.
the Nationals have already written themselves off this year. They're already looking into, hey, we're rebuilding, right? They got off to that hot start, but they kind of, tinkered off. They've shown
Mm.
that, they're ready to go to a development base, sending down Dylan Cruz to the minors to start the year. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Yankees are in play for CJ Abrams eventually. I know a lot of Yankee fans probably won't like that, but he's
Dude,
off to
that
a
I
pretty good
hate that.
start.
That's such a good pull. That's actually a great
Mhm.
spot for him, and I feel like he would love that moment. Like, he's a big time player like that. I feel like he kind of not that guys, like, get bored, but, like, I feel like some guys like Giancarlo, I feel like even though I mean, he was great in Miami, and Miami's kind of a big city, but it just really doesn't support their sports
Mm.
teams. Like, I feel like he was made for, like, a New York, San Francisco, like, one of those historic teams, and CJ Abrams just feels like a big time player. Kind of like a more, like, professional version and a better player version of Jazz, where, like, there's kind of flair, but he's just gonna go gamble one night. It's not gonna be crazy. Like, Jazz is just kinda not that good, but, CJ, yeah, God, that's a fucking good pull, dude. I'm so mad that that's
Yeah,
definitely
dude,
gonna
I
happen
like
too.
him. I like him for that lineup. I like him for a lot of these lineups. He's going to be a name to watch coming up at the trade deadline, months down the road right now. I'm already writing off Nationals. They are not a good ball club. I
Yeah,
know they started off hot. But he's going to be a guy that, could be a potential suitor for them. He plays, more athletic than a lot of their guys that they have on the roster. I know the Yankees, were one of the tops in stolen bases because of Jose Calderon. Well, adding CJ Abrams only helps, right? You can have
yes,
Calderon off
yeah,
the bench, but that only helps them. They become more athletic. Jazz does not produce with the bat right now. Jazz also, it has not looked good defensively either watching these
no,
games. Uh, just looks totally lost after his, crazy remarks of I'm going 50-50 and I'm the best player in baseball. Well, buddy, you have a 580 OPS right now. And you look like total dog shit. But
mm.
we're not going to continue to talk about Jazz
And
Chisholm
when
unless
you
you want to
marry
make
an
some mark.
OnlyFans model, delusion is top of the key or top
Yeah,
of the mind, so
yeah, for sure, man.
that's all we'll say about Jazz.
Yeah. But let's talk about the other New York team, man. And they've kind of impressed me. They kind of, they haven't really played a lot of great comp. to start the year. The Diamondbacks, not really a great ball club in my mind, but had a comeback win yesterday. And some of the guys have started to produce more. Uh, I am a little concerned about Bo Bichette, just how he's moving. I don't think he's fully healthy from that knee injury he had a year ago in the World Series. He just looks a little slow to me, just running, fielding, even hitting at the plate, like landing on his front foot. He just looks like he's dragging. He's a step slow compared to how he was healthy. I'm interested to see if he continues to struggle. Will they give him an IL stint? Guys like Marcus Simeon haven't been great for them. Carson Bench, their guy they were very excited about coming out of spring training, he's been pretty bad, but they're sitting at 7-4. And fastball Freddie has continued to dominate. Had a great outing yesterday. Got in some trouble at the end of his start yesterday, but the bullpen got him out of it. And they ended up winning 4-3 on a walk-off by Ronnie Triano. I just butchered that, but former top prospect for the Mets, switch hitting infielder. He's got some pop. It's going to be interesting if he stays up here for the near future. I really like him. I think he'll play here and be a great fit for the Mets. But overall, what are your thoughts about the Mets? And then we'll get into the Diamondbacks in a little bit.
Yeah, the Mets, I honestly feel like they're New York, like the Yankees diet version. They're like the light version. I feel like this. You look at what their lineup should be doing, and it should be hitting better. Granted, the Yankees are hitting a little better with like a Ben Rice, but you look and like the usual guys aren't doing the usual things in the lineup, but the pitching is just so fucking dirty from every end. Like, I mean, dude, if you have Freddie Peralta pitching, and Freddie's just like you said, fastball Freddie, he's consistent as hell. He's like, he's like having the 10th to 8th best quarterback. You're always going to have a chance. Clay Holmes is such a stud too, and if you had Nolan McLean, um, and he's hitting his top end, I mean, dude, those three are a fucking terrible matchup in a series. That's not even including Senga and Peterson if they're on, which Senga's looked pretty good to start the year. Peterson's been hit or miss, but he's not asked to do too much. He's just getting hit a lot. But like Clay Holmes, I see right here 7 hits in like 12 innings already. I mean, dude, he's already starting so hot, and it's not even a lot of Ks from him too. So that's really good. He's just probably getting really really bad contact. And especially once these guys get more into their stuff, you'll see that strikeout number climb. Brooks Raley's been pitching well. Devin Williams kind of got a change of scenery. I think that helped a lot, just being in a different New York atmosphere. Uh, Again, and like I said, some guys are made for the lights, like I was saying with Abrams. Stanton, I feel like some guys like Sonny Gray and Devin Williams aren't, and are made for those more hometowny feels of. Granted, it's still New York, but the Mets are a little more of like the streets of New York, not as much the epicenter of New York, like the Big Apple of New York. You think of the Yankees, you're not going to think of the Mets. You go more to Queens for that. So this team's kind of finding its identity, which I was kind of low on this team, but they're impressing me. Pitching staff just looks terrific, and Brooks Raley's been dirty too. I just saw his stats. He has a 13.5 K through 9, but yeah, I just feel like they're like almost the diet version of the Yankees right now.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense because I don't want to dive too into that, but thinking about A Rod, when he came over, the type of pressure he had. He's not a true Yankee because he didn't produce in the postseason. These guys aren't going to have that, right? I barely hear Francisco, only from Frank the Tank, that Francisco Lindor is not a true Met because he doesn't produce in the playoffs. Like there's different like expectations, right? Because the Mets
Yes.
have not been relevant and really winning championships for most of their existence. But I do want to make a point. You saw how good their pitching staff is, pitching to a 2.54 ERA right now. They got so many guys. They put Sean Manaea in the bullpen, which I think was like a really interesting move. I like Sean Manaea as a starter. He's right now pitching to a 1.80 ERA. Excuse me. But like you said, they brought over Tobias Myers from Milwaukee, who's been a great reliever, great guy in later innings. They had Ryan Helmsley a year ago, who just wasn't great in that spot. They thought Tobias Myers was a better fit. Shown so much, early here. Luke Weaver, same thing, coming over from the Yankees, signed that bigger deal. not closing games, which I think he's not a closer, but he's a good like late inning guy, showing it so far. And Devin Williams, like you said, kind of going back to the Devin Williams of old, like he was in Milwaukee. Maybe that's because the lights are lower, the pressure is lower, or maybe he just found his groove, right? Maybe he likes the, Queens, Flushing Queens more than the Bronx. He feels more comfortable there. Maybe it's the
Yes.
mound. I don't know. But I think that, his stuff is playing really well. Fastball Freddie hasn't even been the best pitcher in the starting rotation. I just want to put that out there. Noah McLean pitching to a 2.61, but they got other guys too. They got other guys that pitch really well, like Kodai Senga. And like you said, David Peterson, he's been one of the better pitchers in this league for a while now, like a more serviceable guy that's going to give you like, around a 3 ERA, a guy that's going to get you deep innings around the 200 innings pitch mark, 150 innings pitch mark. He's a good guy to have in your rotation. So I'm not, hating on the Mets at all. The only guy that I think is dog shit and they need to DFA is Richard Dick Lovelady. He is awful. They need to get him out of town. I'm doing my Mets fans a favor here, but other than that, man, I'm really impressed by them. I think that they're pitching so well, and the offense will eventually come through.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I gotta give credit to Alvarez too. He's really held down the fort. He has most homers on the team, and I feel like his command behind the plate and his leadership goes a long way with that pitching staff. He gets more out of those guys than they really should. So credit to the Mets. Do we really have to talk about the
Yeah.
Diamondbacks?
No, I don't want to talk about the
I hate the
Diamondbacks that
NL
much. I mean, they're
West.
kind of just
I just like
mid.
kind of hate the NL West. I
Yeah,
think they're
it's
all dog shit besides the
disappointing.
Dodgers. I think the Padres are not good.
Yeah,
I think they're average. I
no, they're
literally think
falling off so bad. Yeah,
it's 3 teams that'll finish between 85 and 80 wins, and then the Rockies that honest Rockies might win 60 games. Their projection was 53.5. They are playing hard as fuck, okay? But we will like the Diamondbacks. I'll give them a little respect. They do have great players. Um, my question to you is, I guess this is how I want to talk about the Diamondbacks. Sorry, I'm calling an audible. Um, do you think any of these guys are available at the deadline? I know it's early, but like obviously Corbin Carroll's probably locked in. I don't see Perdomo, but like Ketel Marte has like when are they gonna shake this up? Like it's just they're just trying to recreate 2023. I feel like every single year.
yeah. I think guys like Loizica, Kevin Ginkel, those guys will be available. The guys that have been there longer in their bullpen, that their bullpen's already dog shit, but they're already they've been
They have
mainstays. They've
so many
been
runs, dude.
yeah, big names that could be available. James McCann's probably going. So like guys that you already expect, but like I don't really see. Maybe Nolan Arenado gets traded. I think he gets traded out of all of them. He's washed, but like
Sucks.
I think a contender will take a flyer on him to like I don't know why they would want to pay that big contract, but maybe some team like trying to think like who would need a third baseman. It's kind of hard, in April because like can't really
Yeah, it's so
project that
early.
team needs. But yeah, I think he's the most probably the one that gets moved. I don't see Marte getting moved unless it's just like the Dodgers give them like James Tibbs and like literally
Yeah,
anybody under the sun, like uh Paez, which I don't see them giving up because he's just been on fire. But
it's
for the
crazy.
Diamondbacks, man, they got some work to do because they're in a hole. And maybe Alec Thomas gets moved. That maybe
Yeah,
I'll
dude,
throw that out there.
they gotta move on or not. Like, I don't understand
Mhm.
how Lawler's not in the line. Like,
Yeah.
I like at this point, like, what are you waiting for him for? Like, I don't understand giving him 18 at bats and then Nolan Arenado double the amount. No, okay, this just like pisses me off. Okay, in half the amount of bats, Lawler has one more total base than Nolan Arenado. I mean, what are we fucking doing? Like, why? I don't understand what this organization try. Dude, I swear they're just trying to get back to that. Like, they just keep thinking they're a World Series team because teams fall in love with that. Like, oh, we made it to the World Series. Like, it would be the Royals if they didn't win that championship against the Mets. It's like, bro, you can't keep running back the same fucking squad. It's not gonna work. Like, even the Yankees pivoted after the Dodgers 2 years ago. Like, you have to pivot, and this team has not. They haven't developed any real new hitting and pitching because again, they don't even let their new guys hit. They're just like they're so frustrating. The Diamondbacks just frustrate the living fuck out of me because they
Dude,
have so much talent.
I like their pitching though, but again, like you said, they didn't really develop them. They just signed guys, right?
Yeah, and it's
Eduardo
been Gallon
Rodriguez, he
and
had a
five.
yeah. Brian will get back here in a second. He just, glitched out. The internet situation continues to struggle. Live TV, folks. But to talk more about the Diamondbacks, and Eduardo Rodriguez is pitching tonight, man. He's been very impressive to me. This Diamondbacks rotation, they got some guys. They got some guys that have pitched really well. Even Zach Allen, who they brought back on a 1-year deal, has continued to thrive in, pitching 2 or 3 so far this year. But like Brian said, man, they don't really try to develop players. They just kind of just go out there and sign guys. I mean, they brought back Paul Sewald, who was their closer of that World Series team. They have Ginkel. They have guys that have been on that World Series team, but like Brian said, they're not trying to develop. Like Jordan Lawler should play, former top 100 prospect. What was he, the 6th overall prospect a year ago at shortstop? They're
Yeah,
trying him out in center
yes.
field. Like, what are we doing? Just
It's
play the
just
kid.
disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
disrespectful, man. Like I totally get Perdomo. Like he has came out kind of out of nowhere a little bit. He's hitting
Yeah, but
25,
he's the
30 home
top
runs.
10 shortstop, right? They
Yeah,
have to play
put him
him.
at third
Mhm,
base. Like
mhm.
shortstops can play. Okay, I'm changing my take. My athletic shortstops in the outfield because of O'Neal Cruz scares me of making
Dude,
that
yeah,
take
that's a
again.
bad one.
I think
Holy.
you got to put athletic shortstops at third base and then have them like develop that because that's closer to the type of action and they don't have to read as much in the air. Um, I think that's what you're going to have to see from this. Like where are they going to put Westerholt and like where are they going to put? Well, he's at second right now, but like guys in those situations, I feel like that's going to be the best route for Lawler. And I think he could do it, dude. He has a really good bat. He finds the barrel. If you have Kim, Corbin, Perdomo, that's and Cattell Marte. Like they're just like like a dynasty fantasy football team that won't decide if they're gonna try to rebuild or not. Like those are the 3 teams that those are every team that's not the Dodgers and the Rockies in the NL West. It's like, oh, let me stay in the middle and hopefully I make a wild card and then maybe we can make a run. Like it's decide what you want to do. Like at least the Padres sell out every year. Like the Giants
Yeah,
and
they
Giants just
try to
kind of
change.
suck. Yeah, the Giants
Yeah,
try, but they just suck, and they have Buster Posey, so they'll get better. But
yeah.
I just the Diamondbacks are so frustrating. But
Dude, I think I'd rather have and this is gonna be just like a dog shit take, but I'd
oh, I
rather
love
have
this.
the
I love how it's going already.
Rockies roster for the next 5 years than the Diamondbacks
Let's
because
go.
think about it, like, Nolan Arenado right now, 504 OPS, he's continued to just trend downward, hasn't really been the same player he was. Why did they go out I mean, I know they didn't give anything up for him, but what was the point? Like, you have younger
And
guys
it's
in the
not
farm
injuries with
system.
him. He's just dog
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, and they've had younger guys in the farm system that they've just traded away for guys like Nolan Arenado that, have produced like Elison De Los Santos, who's playing right now for Miami. He's just bouncing around, but big power bat. I know he's not a mainstay right now in the majors, kind of a higher development type of guy, a lot of swing and miss. But eventually, like, why don't you give those guys chances instead of shipping them off for older guys that are sure they're proven, but they also have been dog shit for the past 2 years. I just don't get it. I don't get what the Diamondbacks are doing. I don't think that they're gonna be they'll be competitive, but I don't think they'll make the playoffs. They might be down there them
No,
and the Giants are gonna finish out that 3rd and 4th spot in the West. And
I just feel like Lavulo and that whole team just can't get over that one run. Like I honestly think the Blue Jays are the same team. I know people are gonna hate that. I know it's early. I was saying this before the season even started. I feel like the Blue Jays are the same team. It's like a fluke World Series run. You're not gonna see teams like that bounce back and like develop because they're gonna kind of just be stuck in that mindset of like, oh, that World Series we should have won. Like, thank God, like the tribe moved on from that 2016 because it's easy to dwell on that, and then 5 years later, you're still trying to recreate that same moment. So
Yeah.
I
And
just,
to your
yeah, let's
point,
go
some
on.
teams
Like,
move. Yeah. Some teams move
no,
on
what were you
too
gonna say?
fast, though. I just want to say, yeah.
Yes.
No, I agree. Some teams move on too fast. Like the '03 Marlins just blowing that shit up, just trading
Mhm.
everybody. Like everything must fucking go. Like that shit. But like you said, like Cleveland, when we traded everybody in 19, it was more a payroll construction. But like at that point, it's like this is working, but like we also have to address the changes because we also have other guys that are available that
Yep.
we don't really need Encarnacion anymore, which I mean, I take back, but like Yonder Alonso, you get what I'm saying. Like,
Yes.
we'd rather bring back Santana to play over Yonder Alonso. We, rather try Jake Bowers than, Encarnacion. Well, I don't understand that still, but you get what I'm saying. But I do
Yes.
want to
Yep.
talk about your Los Angeles Angels. And dude,
I
just give
love
me your
this
overall
team.
thoughts about them, bro. I know you're just saying that this is one of
I
your
love
favorite
this
teams to
team.
watch right now.
They're just so fucking fun, man. Like Joe Adell, 3 robbed home runs. Jose Soriano, please watch him. He's probably one of the most underrated pitchers in baseball. His
So good.
sinker's disgusting. His control. Gave up a home run to Doug Baldwin in the first inning, and then I think he went like almost 7 more scoreless after that with 10 Ks. Dude's filthy. Mike Trout's healthy. Always nice to see. Jorge Soler. Obviously, he tried to fight Ronaldo Lopez last night.
That shit was
I just
crazy, bro. He
just
he
love that
swung
shit,
in
and I
it with
love
the
how
ball. I
I
was
d
like, "What the
now
fuck?"
okay, bar trick I learned from a guy at the service department. Bar trick for everybody here, if you do have to get into a we do not condone violence here. Do not get in
Just go in the
fisticuffs
ring,
unless you're in
fellas.
a safe gym. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're a safe gym with a coach. However, if you have to defend yourself, a little trick for you. A lighter is usually what's the go-to because people are out, but good call by, Lopez holding the ball. If you hold something in your palm when you hit, there's more force that comes back onto that object. So if it's like small enough to fit in your hand, so it actually kind of like cements your fist a little bit. So actually, a very good tactic by Ronaldo Lopez. I was pretty impressed. That was the first thing I thought about. Is like this guy probably in the bar fight or two, because that's like an old school trick. But no, it. I love how baseball players just can't throw punches either. Like my favorite thing about like having like some combat experience is like watching these fights like this because like so many times I just think like why doesn't someone just try to kick somebody or something like
Yeah.
that, but you could tell these guys just are like obviously that's when we're like training, we're thinking it through, we're calmer. Like these guys are so pissed they're just trying to kill like take somebody's head off.
Yeah.
So I love the emotion. I think it shows Kurt Suzuki, I think's really got that clubhouse gelled. They have good athletes, man. Joe Adell was a top prospect forever. He's finally coming into his own the past couple years. Mike Trout, if he could stay healthy. Shanawell's great. One of the most underrated players in baseball, hitters in baseball right now, is Zach Neto. I mean, dude's 5 tool all around the board. He's a right-handed Corey Seager. That's what I think of every time I see him. He's the
Yeah.
pop off his bat's just fucking filthy. Kurt Suzuki's fun as a manager, and this team just hits bombs, robs home runs, and fights. So I just love them right now. 6-6. They're
Yeah, dude.
probably gonna spit out by the end of the year. They're probably gonna like fall out. But I could also see them being like a Reds last year, maybe just like the AL if the wild card's low enough. Because I don't think there's gonna be any great teams besides the Yankees in the AL right now. I think it's gonna be harder than people think to get to 90 wins. So we'll see, but
Well,
they're just
I'm
fun
gonna
right now.
yeah.
What do you think about them?
Dude, I feel like they do this every year, and I'm not trying to be like an
Yeah,
asshole
no,
or
they do.
anything. And like
No, they
Angel
do.
fans, like don't take this the wrong way. Like you guys always start off so well. You get us hooked on here, you have the pieces offensively. Like I get it. I get Mike Trout's back. I get Jorge Soler is kind of like coming back to, his little thing, doing his little thing again, like he did for the Braves, which I thought was crazy that he fought his former team, but that he won a World Series
I
for. But
love
that's
that.
just me. But dude, I mean,
I
like,
love that.
I just hate to look at the lineup right now. Yo, Moncada, dog shit right now. Okay, batting 091. Don't think he'll be here much longer. Osvaldo Peraza. I forgot he was on this team, bro.
Hey,
The Yankees gave up on him so many times, which
Careful.
I thought was hilarious. But I mean, maybe he finds a way. I want to
The
know where Kyron
Angels'
Paris
blood
is at
runs
because
deep.
like I was a Kyron Paris believer. I don't think he's gonna play. But dude, they got some guys. They got some guys. They got some
No.
names. But like Artie Moreno once said, the fans don't care about winning. They care about ballpark safety. And that's why I'm saying that the Angels, might be 500, might be 60 and 60 at the 120 game mark. So, dude, I like the optimism you have for I truly do. Like, I actually enjoy watching this team. I like so many others because they just they hoop. They're kind of the A's with a little bit better pitching. Their pitching's dog shit. But like, I do want to ask you, like, are you
Yeah.
excited for Alek Manoah when he comes up? Like, generally, like speaking, I just want to ask.
No. No, I hate him. I hate him. He's such a whatever. I'm not gonna go into it. He's a Cy Young winner, at least he has that. I do think there's some relief though with the Angels prospects. I mean, like Bremer's pretty good. He should be up by the end of the year. You got Klassen, who's another guy that could be up by the end of the year. They're projecting 2026. I feel like this is a team that's just I I could see them being like the Reds last year. I could also see them being like the Marlins last year too, and maybe just like being fun for a little bit and always
Yeah, like
being
79
near 4 or
wins.
5 games. Yeah,
Mhm.
79, 80 wins, which is a big step up. But I think they're for sure better than the A's. Um, we'll see. The Mariners aren't going to be this bad, so they're not going to be better than the Mariners or the Astros or the Rangers. But we'll see. They're fun. They're
Yeah.
really fun.
Hey,
They're kind
before
of
we
like they're kind of like the I get the vibes of like the Hornets in the NBA.
yeah.
Feel like if it goes well, they just seem like a very gelled unit,
Mhm.
and I don't know. Credit to that Braves coach though, who tackled Jorge Soler, and he's like 62. Dude's
Fucking
a dog.
crazy, dude.
That's
That
my
shit was
dream. That's my dream. Any 6-year-old man that tackles a younger man, that's my dream. Every time I see that, I go, "That's the best thing I've ever seen in my
dude,
life."
I might tune in
Double
after
the age,
yeah.
double leg.
Dude, I'm tuning in at 4:07 first pitch today in Anaheim, fellas.
I
Grant
can't wait.
Holmes versus Reed Detmers. Is Acuna taking a fastball ahead? I'm just fucking with you. I'm just like,
No,
I think
I don't
there's
know
so much
though. Kurt, Kurt's
much
a
bad blood
catcher.
there, dude.
Kurt's a catcher, dude. Like
Yeah.
he's catchers are gonna go old school. Like catchers protect their pitchers. And like I when I used to catch and then when I ended up pitching, like there's a special bond there. It's quarterback wide receiver. So
Yeah.
I I think they're gonna try to beat them, but I mean I could see some words being thrown. Like these dudes are
Dude, it's gonna be feisty. I
I love
know
it.
people are gonna be like, man, shut up. But like, you know, we've both played the game at some sort of level. We've watched the game for so long. Like,
Bro, these guys are crazy. They play
yeah,
162 games. Baseball players are crazy. I wanna
yeah,
say a different word, but I don't wanna say it. Like,
yeah.
they're wild, man. They're out of their mind. So, of course, they're just gonna have random remember Bryce Harper when he, like, ran up to Hunter
Through his
Strickland
helmet. Yeah, yeah,
on the most normal hit by pitch, like, literally just he
yeah,
pulled a fastball. You could see him pull the fastball, and then he misses with the helmet, and I'm like, it's like you spaz out like a little kid. Like, it's just that's the beauty of the game is that it's so,
yeah.
up in the air. But I can't wait. There's so many good. I love Wednesday and Thursday because there's always day baseball on. That's always
Mhm.
a great thing for me. So really good games tonight. And that's definitely the main one I'm tuning into tonight.
Yeah. I just wanna
Besides the guards.
yeah, for sure. Hey, before we close it out, biggest surprises right now. Your biggest surprise. You can take your time. I'll start
Hmm.
off on my biggest surprise.
Yeah, you go first.
I'm going to say the Rockies because I don't know how the fuck they're 5 and 6. I don't know how they're
I
5 and
love it.
6. It's so early though, but biggest disappointment, the Cubs, 5 and 6 as well. They did not look good against the Guardians when we watched them.
No,
They do not look good against the Rays. So, what are your biggest, surprises and disappointment? We'll do this every week. I think that's just fun. We can do teams, players, whatever you
yeah,
want.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Also, credit to Warren Schaefer, the manager of the Rockies. I don't think people realize how important it is to have a good manager that gets everybody on the same page. Like as somebody who coached a little bit, it is so important to have that. And I can't even imagine it on that type of level with that talent. So great pulls right there. Rockies were the one I'm thinking of. Disappointment, I'm Blue Jays. I know they're playing the
Yeah.
Dodgers, but dude, like it's crazy to me how lackadaisical they're coming out. And I knew they weren't going to be as great, but I'm just stunned at how lazy they're coming out. Obviously, I talked about the Marlins last week, but I'm not really gonna um, touch on them.
Yeah,
I was a team. There's a team probably that's the most impressive that I hate to say because I'm really a hater on the manager since he left. But I mean, the Reds looked really good. They've won 5 in a row. They're 8-3 to start. They're not going to beat the Brewers for the division. The Brewers are already 8-3. Like the Brewers are like just they're a little better version of the Guards. I feel like dude, they are just a fucking machine. Like every year they
their
start good.
offense has
Like
looked
I'm
good since they looked a lot better.
terrific, man.
Everybody's, like, producing and even, like, trading away Durbin, who was kind of like a lower third guy that, you
Mhm.
know, put the flagpole down, anchor in the lineup, like, some guy that could solidify that lower third. Without him, I mean, they still look good. They still look good,
Yeah.
and Yelly looks better. Yelly looks
And
like he can
Harrison
still
looks
swing it.
good. The trade
Yeah,
they got for him, Harrison looks
mhm,
good. So,
for sure.
so
Yeah, Kyle
I'd say
Harrison
the
looks
Reds
stud.
and the Reds and Brewers. I'll do a combo, Reds and Brewers, but more the Reds just because they've been really hot lately.
Yeah. Are we believers of the Pirates? I wanna do say that before we
Yeah.
close out the show. Sitting at 7-4 right now. Offense
Yes.
looks good. Outfield defense looks terrible with Brian Reynolds and, O'Neal Cruz out there in center field. I mean, Christ, I think I could play better outfield defense if I was
For
still
real, dude.
playing.
It's bad.
But, like, dude, you see that one fly ball that Brian Reynolds just tripped on the warning I think it was last night, tripped on the warning track.
Bro,
He fell down.
it's
The
so bad.
One of the Pirates fans behind him was just like, "What the fuck?" He heard it on
There
live
was
television.
There's like a YouTube series last year
Yeah,
when Skeens got called up and it like followed his opening day and then it followed like I was watching one about spring training last year and that was when O'Neal Cruz was first making the switch. And dude, they would do outfield stuff and like the drills they would do. I mean, granted it was Derek Shelton ran, so it could be totally
yeah,
different now. But like still as an assistant on his staff that got the job. But dude, like they were doing like most childish like drills and that's not on the coaches. That shows me that that's how bad the talent is they have because they probably have to learn how to open their hips and stuff. Like it's that has to be addressed. Get O'Neal Cruz in the DH role. Figure that out somehow. Um, right now, you could still put Lowe at second. Connor Griffin is short. You can go O'Hearn at first. You can put O'Hearn in the outfield. You can get Cruz back in that DH spot. I don't know if you want to try to make him a third baseman, first baseman, play him 50 games at short and then maybe just DH him the rest of them and then maybe give Connor Griffin some DH spots. I just think at this point it's not going to work. Um, and the more you do it, like they can't keep losing games like this, especially with the NL the way it is. They need to take advantage of those wins, especially with Keller. Those guys are on the mound. Um,
yeah,
they can't
for
give up
sure.
easy runs, but I believe in them for sure. Their offense is dirty, dude. They might have this might be a hot take. They might have the deepest lineup in the NL Central. I know the Brewers are really good. I know the Cubs are really good, dude. O'Hearn and Lowe and
They
Ozuna were
might,
such
like
good additions,
yeah,
especially O'Hearn and Lowe. Like O'Hearn has been so good. He's been one of like top 5 hitters in baseball to start the year. He's
yeah.
hitting a fuck ton out the
I
ball.
wouldn't be surprised if we come back and talk about Pirates in the June, right? We talk
Yeah,
about them. Maybe they're sitting at 500. Maybe they're 5 games, 6 games. Maybe not blowing it out of the water, right? But very competitive, a good ball club.
yes,
I would not be surprised if we're saying, man, this is one of the best lineups in maybe a top 10 lineup in the National League, right?
for real.
They got
Yeah,
the
dude,
guys, they
maybe in
got the power.
baseball.
Yeah, and O'Neal Cruz, as much as I rave on his defense, how bad it is defensively, still a good offensive player, right?
Great
Dude,
offense. Yeah.
I
And
I mean,
Reynolds the same way.
yeah, Reynolds too. Like they got guys that Connor Griffin, maybe he, is as good as advertised. Right now, he's kind of like, you know, riding the wave, right? You know how much most
Mhm.
rookies do, but he's shown talent. He had a first really good
Absolutely.
debut. So yeah, but that's all I wanted to talk about, bro. You got anything else?
No, man, just more baseball. I love getting deeper into the season. That's the best part. I love when
Yeah.
we blink and it's going to be June and then we can really get some good takes. But obviously, we're all projecting a lot here. But it's fun getting more of a sample size, which is always nice.
Yeah. You got one last thing. You got a player prop that you want to give the people before
For
we
today,
peace out.
ooh,
Yeah.
yeah. You know what? Let's just go with the homer pick. I mean, he's so due, and there's a lefty on the mound. Let's go Jose with a dinger. That's
Okay.
gonna be the
Okay.
choice.
Hopefully it's
Jose
not.
with
I
the
mean, it might
dinger.
be windy today. It was super windy yesterday. Yeah, he got a hold of one yesterday, but dude, the wind was
Did
so
it
bad that
bring
it
it down?
just
Okay, let's go
pushed and
with
died. Yeah.
Jose. It was plus money. I did bet this as well. Jose 2
Mhm.
bases. We'll go with that. Jose
Yeah,
2
he's
bases.
due, dude. He started off so slow. Like he's getting there. He's finally catching barrels. They're just going right at him because of
Yes.
the wind. It's so windy in
He was
Cleveland. It's so
pulling
cold in
everything
Cleveland.
early, and now he's kinda
Yeah,
like you said, he's
yeah.
catching barrels again, so he'll be
Mhm.
fine.
Yeah, maybe, dude. I was thinking like Juan Burrito home run, but like same thing. Like
Ooh.
it's just gonna be
Oh,
super windy.
crazy odds. Okay, for the betting people, I was looking this morning. Carter Jansen plus money for 1 hit, and Hedges plus money for 1 hit.
What? Carter Jansen's been raking.
Bro, and Hedges,
2 home runs this series.
yeah, dude, the
The
Hog,
hog.
I
The
mean,
hog's been raking.
dude, the Hog has shown. The Hog and his at bats. Okay, this is actually something I want to talk about
Hedgehog,
before I
play with
get
my
off.
hog, dude. Just
He
rake.
he is the definition of a professional. There is no reason he should be hitting MLB pitching, and you can tell he worked on it in the offseason and his approach. His
Yeah.
like the way he doesn't get down in counts. He used to get down 0-2 so fucking quick. Now he actually has a fighting chance. And bro, when he has pop, like he always had a little bit of pop. Like
Yeah.
his hits aren't just bloopers. Like, bro, he's ripping doubles. He's like, I just love the motherfucker, man.
Dude,
And
he's
the
just
less Bo
scrappy.
Naylor I can see, like the
Yeah.
better. And like the more David Fry and him I see. Um, and I want to see Cooper Angle. That's another thing, but
Me too.
that's for
He's been
you and
raking.
Coop to talk
Yeah.
about. So,
Dude, I'm excited
ooh,
about I'm
my hair
excited to
looks
talk
crazy.
cards tonight with Coop. It's been a
Hell
little
yeah, I
bit,
can't wait
but
to listen. Tune in,
yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. Hey, so just want to say we're back fully, right? Every Monday, Wednesday. I think we'll maybe Friday, right? We'll
Yep.
talk. Me and Brian will talk about it. We'll get you guys more content coming out. Betting with B will be back on sooner or later when Brian gets
Yep.
his
Tune
stuff.
in for the Masters.
Yeah, he'll
We'll
be
get a
posting it
Masters
on his
version this
Instagram.
weekend.
We'll link it. We'll also put it on the Bridge to October Twitter and Bridge to October Instagram story. So if you're interested in that stuff, check it out. But we're here, fellas. We're back. Like and
Let's
subscribe.
go.
Retweet if you're on Twitter. And we'll see you next time. Crack open your favorite beverage. This was Beer and Ball. Peace.
Go Guards.